numeral, and I'll know whether you actually are describing it or not. All right. So so we talked about the mortality and morbidity for the fourth one. Then for the fifth, the fifth, that's where you're going to go to town with this disease, right? So with the fifth, it says summarize those data on the distribution of the problem and all that. Your health problem is the disease that you chose. So now with that, with Roman numeral 5, specifics of this disease, right? So in that Roman numeral 5, I want to see you, before you go to A, right? I want you to give me a sentence or two saying, okay, HIV is known to do A, B, and C based on the following. Then you start off with A, host characteristics, right? Host characteristics, you're not describing anything there. I want you to just put in that host characteristics, and then you go to number 1, age. What is the age distribution with regards to HIV, neonates to the elderly? I want to see you talk about that in age. Sex, what is the distribution sex-wise? It affects both. I want you to touch on that. Nativity, marital status, ethnic group. There are some diseases that are selective, while some other diseases are not. So it depends on your own disease. If we talk about hepatitis right now, hepatitis is not gender selective in its distribution. It affects both, right? So I want to see that description there. Also, nativity means the origin, as in maybe where it was, and then the spread, and all that. So I want you, okay, like for HIV, we knew where it started from. COVID-19, we knew where it started from and how it spread. So I want you to tell me where it started from, where it originated from. There's some diseases that did not originate from the United States. I want you to tell me, okay, this is where and then now it's in the United States. So I want that description. Marital status, does it affect singles as against married? Does it affect, even in the married, does it affect a particular group of people that are married? Heterosexuals, homosexuals? I want to know, I want you to describe that there. And then with regards to ethnic group, what ethnic group are affected? Do you have minorities more affected than other groups? I want to see those descriptions. And in these particular descriptions, you can go to town with whatever you're going to cite, whether from CDC, WHO, wherever you're getting your citations from. And that is where that is where your research, that is where, if you've done research with regards to your disease, that's where I want to see those information. If you've done research with regards to that's where I want to see those information. Lindsay, you raised your hand. Is it still up?
Sorry, yeah, just a couple of things. Like tuberculosis is somewhere between 3,000 and 9,000 years old, and they found it.
Oh yeah, it is very old. Yeah,
but
yeah.
Like the origin is not 100% clear because they find it in these. So like it's just, I mean, I can describe the age, but like some of these things, I think we still don't. It's so old that I don't even know that we know exactly where it originated,
where it came from. Yeah,
and like sex. Like it seems to affect more men than women, but like there's no like really clear definition about why that is. Like if it's just that, so I just like say that the incidence is higher in men versus women, but I can't really explain exactly why that is. I don't really know.
Yeah. So okay, yeah. Thank God you brought up to TB. TB is ancient. Like I don't know whether it is even prehistoric or something in it. But and also one thing about TB, it's not original. America is pretty much 200 plus years old or so, right? So definitely TB has been there before the existence of this country. So right. You can't say TB originated from the United States. So there's somewhere like, yeah, but there's information. Yeah, like I just want you. I want to.
You want to see that we looked into this? I understand.
Yeah, I know based on what you're going to put in there whether it is right or wrong, okay. Right? Because if you put in TB and tell me US, I know it's wrong. But if there's something that will just be stark clear that it's not right, and then I see that you did the research, but you're not sure, because definitely TB is if I were to date TB is as old as like ancient civilization. Like that's how old TB is. You know, so I'm looking at that type of date, you know, and not something recent exactly. You know, and then with regards to sex, TB affects both gender. There's no, it's not gender selective.
It does, but like incidence is significantly higher in men for an unknown.
Good. And then this information, I want to see you cite it because it's research you found.
Okay.
You get. So I want to see that. And that is where, when I say you guys go do research, this is research about the disease. That's what I want to see. I want you to pick from what you did as research and put those informations into the outline. That's what I'm looking for. Someone raised a hand. What, Vivian, were you the one? I'm not sure.
I just had a question. So it's about the same procedure, about one paragraph for each of those characteristics. Okay.
Yes. Okay. So the next is the B, and please, it has to follow this outline. I want to see the numbers. I want to see the letters. I want to see the Roman numerals, please. It has to follow. That's why it's an outline. I want to see the progression. I want to see the subheads, right? So the next is the environmental attributes. Now, the geographic areas. You can go to town with putting in graphs in there because sometimes you cannot see those maps of, okay, this is where, especially if your disease is pretty global, right? You can put in those maps in there or pictures showing the global distribution of the disease. Please, you can do that there and kind of put one or two sentences and say, okay, this shows global distribution in these areas of the world, okay? And then social and economic factors, right? Income, housing. There's some diseases, I don't know, okay, so with regards to TB actually back in the day affected those that were like definitely low on SES, like socioeconomic status, very low housing, people that were living in dingy areas. Like that, the TB was known like the disease of the poor and on the unclean. You know, that is kind of like what TB was known for with regards to housing. Now because of industrialization, people get TB regardless of where you live. You know, middle class, upper echelon, lower, you know, but TB back then was known for that. So I really want to see the socioeconomic factors with regards to how this disease, you know, the distribution of this disease with regards to income. Alicia. Yeah. Alicia, your hand is up.
Sorry, I thought I unmuted myself. So is this tapping into the social determinants of health then?
Yes. So it kind of dovetails into social determinants in a way. Yeah. Yeah, for that disease. Yeah. Okay. Occupation. There's some diseases that, it actually, if you are a farmer, if you are a cattle rearer, if you rear cattle, it's the transmissibility of the disease is pretty high. If you keep birds, like the avian flu, and nobody chose the avian flu, right? So Christine, I think you chose a very interesting disease, brucella among farmers, cattle rearers. So that is something I'm going to be looking out for with regards to occupation, how, you know, the disease is prevalent among a particular occupation as against another occupation, or sex workers. You know, back in the day, HIV was like, okay, sex workers and all that, but now we don't know, it's not strictly spread among that. But I want the person that picked HIV to bring that into their conversation with regards to occupation. Moses. Yeah.
So my question when I started researching the committee in regards to that, I'm not finding anything clear. I'm still going to continue to search, obviously, but the recurring theme that I get is for young people that get it, but not a type of employment or a type of circumstance. So it just keeps revolving back to youth. You know, they have different age groups for boys or for males and females, but as far as a job associated or an environment, that's been hard for me to pinpoint. So I'm going to continue to look.
Mo,
but there's also nothing that yes.
Why don't you look into like sex workers, like that occupation?
Yeah, right. And I did that, but the number global, because it's global, it wasn't pointing out like, hey, this is the highest trend, but it is there. So I kind of saw that. So that's where I was like, it's telling me that it's there, but it isn't saying specifically this is the highest population of type of work that can get the infection. So that's what was kind of like scaring me. But then when you look at it globally, it's not that significant. But the young people are getting it more.
Yeah. For occupation, right? Some diseases are not clear cut, right? But those that actually chose STDs, definitely there is a predilection among those diseases with sex workers, right? But doesn't mean that those that are not sex workers wouldn't get the disease, right? So, but it has to be there.
Got you. Okay.
You know, but you can actually still delve into, but I don't think chlamydia has a occupation specific.
That's what I mean. I mean,
yeah,
I can
with
look
chlamydia,
into
no, there's no occupation specific, but I would like you to like identify the fact that it's a sexually transmitted disease, and definitely it will have its high prevalence among sex workers.
Right, and that's where I ran into my issue. I saw that it was there, but then when I was across the board, nothing said like, "Hey, farmers get it more," or the sex.
No. There's some diseases that are pretty specific, like as I said with Christians. I'm just trying to remember some of the diseases you guys right. Christian shows a very interesting disease, Brucella abortus, right? And it's actually it's a zoonotic infection that is transmitted through animals. So people that are actual herders, like sheep herders, goat herders, cattle rearers, would definitely I would need to see that as in the occupation there.
I think we lost her.
Because it's specific. It's like you can't see to that in the past. And then I don't know whether anybody chose anthrax. Did anybody choose anthrax? No. Okay. Nobody chose anthrax. I'm sorry, I don't know. I feel like I'm frozen or something.
Okay. We did lose you for a little bit. We did lose you for a little bit.
So sorry. I don't know. As I said, my connection is acting funny. Okay. So so that's for occupation. Then for education, those that are affected, are they like also bringing in the social determinants of